So there are things that I really like in my anime, and I decided to make a list of things that I like in my anime that I watch. Now, when I say my anime, I'm not talking about the ecchi anime or the romance rom com anime. I'm talking more about my shonen mostly, um, but the seinen anime too. This is kind of like what I like from kind of both of them, but mostly shonen. So things I really like is first of all, is characters with unique backstories. I really do not like when shonen are very generic or formulaic. I kind of like for my shonen to have I kind of like for my shonen to have characters with unique backstories, like backstories that are very deep, but it doesn't feel like I've heard this same backstory before. But if you do use the same backstory, make it unique to the series. So, for example, a big cliche is a lot of anime characters don't have fathers, or they have two dead parents, or their parents are alive at the beginning of the anime, but then they die like 5 chapters in, or they live with their dad dies 5 chapters in, or they live with their mom and their mom dies 5 chapters in, or they lived alone on a mountain and stuff like that, or they killed their own parent by accident. I want something more unique. So something that, even if it's something that's cliche, has been done thousands of times, I want it to be unique. I want you to do a spin on it. So that's something that I look for when it comes to backstories. So even if you have a backstory where it's like, okay, let's say both of the parents died, right? What if the freaking backstory was the whole time the main character thought that there was this person that killed their parents, right? This whole time they thought they had this like false memory in their head of some strong, scary-looking guy who killed their parents, and then it turns out they didn't know they were being mind controlled and they killed their own parents. Something like that. Make it unique. Something that's mind blowing like that. Or they have a brother, and throughout the whole story, we think that the brother is the one who killed the parents, but it turns out that it was actually the main character that killed his parents, and he didn't even know that he killed his parents because he was hypnotized into doing it. Or it turns out that it wasn't even him, it was somebody else that took control of his body and did it. Something unique on those lines. So that's something I want with the backstories. I want the backstories to be very unique. Um, I also like for my characters, I like for my characters to have unique, cool designs. Like when you're making an anime, one big thing that will catch our eyes is the eyes of the character, the hair of the character, the skin of the character, their clothes, what they're wearing, their swag, their style, the power that they have. Maybe you have a character with blue eyes and blue hair and he has ice powers, which in a way is kind of a cliche now. I mean, nowadays you want to do something that's just a little bit different. Have a character who has a red hair and freaking wears red, and we think he's a freaking fire user, but it turns out he uses red ice, and the red ice actually has fire powers and ice powers, or something like that. That would be pretty cool. Something like that on the lines of, oh, we use red ice. Red ice actually burns, but then it's like cold fire actually freezes. Like something that's very unique, something that's not just constantly reused. You know, so that's something that I like. I want characters with cool designs and powers, with cool drip and clothes. And the next would be really deep world building. Now, the one thing about deep world building, I will say this: your world doesn't need to be the mangaka doesn't need to make a world that is like One Piece. Like everybody doesn't need to be like Oda, where the world is super deep, super complex, feels like there's like 4,000 characters going on in it. It doesn't need to feel like Tower of God with 4,000 different people. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't need to be like Naruto, where you have all these different villages and have thousands of characters. However, I want to feel like the world is lived in. So one big problem that a lot of anime have is they'll have somebody randomly fighting in a wasteland or fighting in a forest constantly. Like Naruto has that issue where it's always like them fighting in a forest, right? But I want it to be like there's different interesting locations that the characters are going to all the time. Now you can low key use a forest to death. Like you could have them be in a forest all the time, but make the forest different a little bit. Make it feel like it's not the exact same forest that we've been in. An example that I really like that has really good world building, but it's like it has very simple good world building, is Hunter x Hunter, because Hunter x Hunter has it to where we have the main characters Gon, we have Karapika, and we have Leorio at the beginning of the story, where they're literally trying to find the hunter's exams. And it really feels like they're really progressing and they're really going somewhere and they're going on this big, long journey. It feels like that. A lot of anime don't do that. It doesn't feel like they're going on this big journey. But in Hunter x Hunter, it feels kind of like One Piece where they're going on a journey, but it's like a smaller, quicker paced, big journey. You get what I'm saying? For them to find the hunter exams. That's what I like, personally. That's what I like in my anime. I like where it feels like they're not in the same area all the time. They're not in the same location, in the same setting for the whole show. That can get tiring unless your setting is really huge. A good example of world building would be Made in Abyss. Made in Abyss feels really deep. You know, you can go deeper and deeper and deeper into the giant hole in Made in Abyss, and you find these different creatures and you find deeper secrets. That I love. Put that in your freaking manga. Your manga probably will go crazy. I'll probably freaking be obsessed with it because I want to know all the secrets. I want to know all the locations. I'm one of those guys. I'm really deep into world building. I want to know all your different characters, all your different animals, all your different mystical beasts and creatures and fairies and lions and dragons and tigers and bears and bats and vampires and demons and ghouls and freaking ogres and whatever else you can think of, goblins that you have in your world. I like to know that, and I like to know the history of them, the backstory of them. Why is there a silver-eyed freaking goblin, and this one is stronger than the green goblin, not Spider-Man, but you get what I'm saying. Goblins are usually green. I like when people have a deep world, like deep world building, or your setting should be big and vast and detailed and deep. You get what I'm saying? So even if you have just the one setting like Made in Abyss, make it deep and make it interesting. Make it an extremely interesting setting. But shows like Hunter x Hunter, they really feel like the characters are going somewhere. Shows like Space Dandy. Space Dandy feels like a whole freaking universe. Dandy goes to different planets constantly, and we see him go on different adventures on different planets. You know what I'm saying? Cowboy Bebop. Freaking Spike, he goes to different planets. It doesn't feel like he's just sitting in the same space. Samurai Champloo, they're always walking. You know, Mugen and Jean and Fu, they're always constantly walking to different villages and stuff. And it feels like a world that's lived in. It doesn't feel, you know, small and generic. It feels like it has a deep setting. You know, it feels like they're actually going to different locations. And it actually feels like they're meeting different people. It feels real, actually lived in. That's my whole thing. I want the story to feel like you're really living in it. And if you only have your characters in one location, in one setting, in one place, that's okay, but make it deep, detailed, and fun to think about, you know? Because I know every mangaka is not going to be able to make Oda's world. Like, Oda is a super machine. Oda is like, what's the word? He's like a glitch in the Matrix. Everybody can't be like Oda. But that's how I feel when it comes to my anime. I really want anime like that. Something similar to on the lines of like Hunter x Hunter, One Piece, Tower of God, something like that, where it's Samurai Champloo, Space Dandy. Again, I'm talking about shonen and seinen, so it is what it is. But that's what I like. I like for the world to just be deep, or the setting to be deep. Give me a deep setting. Don't just have them running around in the forest the whole show and that's really all they do. That can get boring. Let me see if I put anything else on here. Let's see. The next one would be cool fight scenes. Every anime needs cool fight scenes, but your fight scenes don't have to be extremely dragged out or over the top. You know, even though a lot of shonen do that, you know, Naruto's fights be dragged out, One Piece fights be dragged out, Bleach's fights be dragged out. The big three constantly have dragged out fights. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're bad. I freaking love all three of the styles of fighting, and they all have different styles of fighting. I would say that Bleach's style and Naruto's style is very similar, you know, when it comes to presentation, and One Piece is more wacky, goofy fun. But they all have their own charm and their own reason why I like them. But when it comes to stuff, I would say your fight can be short and quick. Hunter x Hunter is really good because Hunter x Hunter has tactical fights that are usually short and quick. Most fights can be between 30 seconds long to like literally 8 minutes. And that's what makes me like Hunter x Hunter. It doesn't feel like the fights are like super dragged out, but they're still pretty looking. They still are significant to the plot. They're still nice to look at. Hunter x Hunter 2011 has some of the most beautiful animation ever. The story is good. I'm a Hunter x Hunter dude. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. But that's what I like. I like beautiful fights. The fights don't have to be long. The fights don't have to be dragged out. As long as the fights are good in the choreography and how they're set up. You don't have to have a freaking 70-minute fight. It could just be 8 minutes. As long as it look good, that's all that really matters. Um, so it is what it is. Let me see. Good plot twist. Listen. I'm a nigga who loves me a good plot twist. A plot twist where I can't tell what's gonna happen. See, I'm a dude who watches a lot of movies. I read a lot of comics. I read a lot of manga, and I watch a lot of anime shows. So 9 times out of 10, I can usually kind of guess and decipher and kind of figure out, like on some psychic type stuff, what's usually gonna happen. And it doesn't necessarily ruin the show for me. I still can find it entertaining. But I want it to be like I couldn't even figure it out. Like it was just a mind-blowing plot twist. That's how I like my plot twist. Now I know it's hard to do plot twists. It is what it is. But that's something I really like. So it is what it is. But again, I do like anime for different reasons. Like a lot of different animes for completely different reasons from one another. But this is kind of like the basic stuff I like from my shows. Because I really like stuff like, okay, for example, I like Hell's Paradise. Hell's Paradise is similar to Hunter x Hunter in the sense of, remember in the Hunter exams, they're literally fighting each other and killing each other in the Hunter exams. That's pretty much like how Hell's Paradise is. When they get to the island, they're literally, you got the samurais who are guarding the freaking, the criminals, and they're running around the island and they're literally getting killed by these demons that look like different types of religious gods. And then you have like these weird like flower demons that are hella strong, that can regenerate really quick. They can turn into giant creepy looking scary monsters. They can also turn from women to men. That is something that I find really interesting because it's very similar to Hunter x Hunter in that aspect. It's like a kind of a battle royale kind of thing. I like that in my anime as well. I'm not going to lie to you. I'll also say I do like really good tournament arcs. Like the Dark Tournament from Yu Yu Hakusho is freaking godly. I don't care what anybody says. That tournament was so entertaining when I was watching it. Like I can't even lie to you. And the freaking World Tournament in Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z is freaking amazing. The tournament in My Hero is kind of cool. I kind of like it. I like My Hero because I like the fact that it has a lot of it has inspirational moments. That's one thing that My Hero has mastered that other anime haven't, is that My Hero will get you so mother freaking hype, you will literally have goosebumps going through your freaking body. That's how hyped it gets you sometimes. And it's so good with doing that. And the fact that the mangakas can somehow do that in their manga, and then it becomes put on TV and you still feel the goosebumps. Like, it's genuinely crazy that mangaka can do that. Like, you have to be a literal genius to be able to write a manga. It is what it is. Can't nobody just write a manga and it be good and do something like that. That is something that My Hero is a master at, a god at, is being able to give you goosebumps during an inspirational moment. I remember there was one moment in the show, I'm trying to remember who it was. Is his name Rice Gum? I think it's Rice Gum. Where it's like, it's the fat hero. And it's like he literally punches, I can't remember who he was punching. Oh man, it's been a while since I watched it. But he like punched somebody and he turned skinny. Because like I believe it's like the fatness gives him the strength. If he's fat, he can use the fatness as strength to make his punch strong like One Punch Man. And I remember that had me so freaking hyped. It was such a freaking hype moment. It was like blowing my mind. And then, what was another one? When Deku was fighting Muscular, that was hype. Let's see, what else was hype? When All Might was fighting One for All, that was hype. Like, the show knows how to hype you up. But then, you know what's crazy about My Hero? Even though it knows how to hype you up really good, it's like after that hype moment, you get kind of bored. And maybe I'm the only person who's like that, but it's like weird. It'll hype you up, make you all excited, but then afterwards, I never have the feeling of wanting to go back and watch the fights in My Hero. I don't know if anybody else feels like that, but it's like once I watch it the first time, I'm like, okay, that's cool, that's enough. It's like I never get the urge to, I want to go watch this again. That's another thing about an anime that I like, okay? I like when an anime can make you want to continuously, constantly rewatch it. This is something that Dragon Ball Z has mastered, This is something that Naruto has mastered. This is something that One Piece has mastered and Bleach has mastered. They know how to make you go back and want to rewatch them fights over and over again. When I was 16 years old, I used to constantly rewatch the freaking what was it? Ichigo fighting. How do you say his name? Okria? How do you even say his name, bro? Let me see. Hold on. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Ichigo versus his name. Okiura? I can't even pronounce that. Ukiura? Is that how you say his name? Y'all know which character I'm talking about. But going back, watching his fight, and going back and watching the Grimjaw fight, and going back and watching the fight with him and Kampachi, those are some of my favorite fights. I done went back and watched them fights over and over again. And the fight where Ichigo fights Bakuya, that crab goes hard, bro. I done went back and watched them fights so many times, bro. Or the fight where Ichigo goes and he fights Aizen, and like he has like the whole like new style. So he has the whole black. He's wearing all black, and then he turns into his ultimate form where he has like the little thing covering his face, and he's fighting Aizen, and Aizen looks like a literal butterfly. That fight was short, but it was fire. The music was fire. Or the fight where everybody, all the captains is fighting Aizen. You know how many times I went back and watched that? And then, what's his name? Toshiro, he literally thinks he killed Aizen, but it turns out that Aizen switched places with, what's her name? With the girl. So he freaking kills the girl instead, bro. I don't think she died. I think she came back, but I can't remember, bro. It's been a while. I haven't watched Bleach in a cool minute, probably like 6 or 7 months. The old school Bleach. I watched the 1,000-Year Blood War. I want to say probably like 2 months ago. I watched like the current episodes that were airing. But bro, that mess was fire. That's the one thing that all 4 of them shows have mastered. A lot of other shows haven't really mastered that. I never wanted to go back and watch My Heroes fights again. What else? As much as I love Hell's Paradise doesn't really have any hype fights, I ain't gonna lie, but I love the story of it. And I ain't gonna lie, one of the current mangas I'm reading is, how do you pronounce it? Is Don Dadan? That mess is fire, bro. Like I said in my review, bro, it reminds me of freaking Earthbound so much. It has like an Earthbound vibe because it's so freaking random. But that freaking manga is horny as hell. I'm like, chill, bro. The creator of it was on some horror dog stuff, and they announced the freaking anime for it. I'm so hyped. See, that's what I'm hyped about, bro. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm into like Undead Unlock. I'm into like Hell's Paradise, Dun Dun Dun. Like I'm into those type of anime, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Like JJK is not really like hitting for me. That's just not my thing, bro. Even though like the young generation loves it, it's just not hitting for me, bro. I ain't gonna lie. But those ones is hitting for me, bro. And like I said, like I like escapist anime sometimes where it's just random stuff just going on, bro. Like aliens and freaking demons running around. Like it just be fun. You know what I'm saying? Because it's kind of how I write stories. It gives me, you know what it reminds me of? Dun 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 reminds me of Earthbound, but it also reminds me of Adventure Time and Regular Show, which is how escapist and random it can get. And One Piece too. One Piece is hella random too. There'd be so much random stuff if you watch like the pre-time skip of One Piece. There'd be so much random stuff going on. That's what makes me like Sonic too, though. That's what makes me like Archie Sonic's comics. I don't care. I love the Archie Sonic comics because they're so freaking random, bro. I really like stories that be hella deep and because in the Archie Sonic comics, like the stories be deep and complex, bro. Like I ain't gonna hold you. Like I really do like them a lot, bro. Freaking. My mom freaking bought me one of them for Christmas, boy. With the werehog on it, bro. I like the werehog, I ain't gonna lie. But, is there anything else? That's about it. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Peace and blessings. Like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Go ahead and click that bell in that corner. You feel me? There are going to be so many more videos to come. I'm literally uploading like 2 or 3 of them right now as we speak. And I'm doing this one right now. So... you know, I'm going to upload as many as YouTube will allow me to upload at a time. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Peace and blessings. And have a good one.